Thank you to the Racing Broadcast crew for the opportunity to present in this time segment. Hello everyone, I am Richie, driver for the segment today. I have been using SolidWorks for a long time now. SolidWorks is a great tool to learn and fun to use. It solves most of the challenging tasks such as engineering design, drafting and analyzing products. Also with multi-products such as Visualize, the go-to-market is much easier. This is a fast-paced presentation for SolidWorks Visualize functionalities with 45 features in 45 minutes. Without further ado, let's get along with this presentation.
Visualize interface is made up of Appearances tab, the toolbars, view palettes, and all the things which are required to create a render. However, when it comes to a smaller screen, you cannot really see all the properties and then see the viewport to render or create the rendering product. The best way is we can make use of easy mode uh, so that only the viewport is visible and all the required wizards appears at the bottom of the screen. So simply go to visualize and press the space bar, and here you can see that we have import, paint, scenes, camera and render, which are the 5 steps to create a great render product. So if you want to import a model, you can click on import. If you want to add an appearance, you can click on paint and you can browse to the library. You can add environment scenes, you can add a camera, and then for the final product you can render it out. Setting an environment requires setting the environment and the lighting to suit the project requirements. In Visualize, we require to set the environment while rotating the existing lightings. So let's go to Visualize and see how it is done. So in Visualize, if you are in the normal view, you can go to the Scenes tab, and then for the environment, you can rotate it. Now, this is easy if you know where to find the feature, but what if you were in the easy mode? So with spacebar, what you can do is Ctrl, Alt, and then left click to drag the environment. So it is very easy now that we don't have to go and find the options where the rotate environment is available. Just with the shortcut of Control and Alt plus left click and just drag it, and here you can see that we can set the environment as per our requirements. So it is a time-saving feature. Adding appearance to the object in Visualize requires repetitive drag and drop of appearance from the library to the viewport over the model. This is time consuming, and it is really not a good way when it comes to adding a similar appearance on multiple objects. To eliminate the time, we can make use of Control, Shift and right click so that we eliminate all the repetitive tasks. So let's go to Visualize, and here you can see that there is a red appearance on the glass objects. So instead of selecting the glass appearance and dragging and dropping each one by one, what we can do is we can select the appearance here, and with Control, Shift and right click on the objects while pressing the Control Shift button on the keyboard, you can add the same appearance on all the objects simultaneously. So you are eliminating the drag and drop feature. We can also replace the existing appearances attached to the objects and Visualize project to a new appearance so that we avoid the repetitive drag and drop task. So it is a one-click modification. Let's go to Visualize and see how it works. So in Visualize, you can see that here we have the chrome alloys which are in wrong appearance, or probably we changed the appearance for some purpose and we want to change it back to chrome. Now to do that, what typically we do is we go to Chrome from the appearance and drag and drop, which is a good option, but then it is time consuming. So what we will do is we'll add the appearance to the viewport, and in our appearances tab, we simply copy this appearance. So edit, copy appearance, and we will select the appearance we want to replace. So right click here, edit, and assign appearance as Chrome. So with a single click, your appearance is modified as per your requirement. Very often we come across situation where our Visualize project file size gradually increases. This happens because most of the Visualize project consists of the environments which are not in use, or maybe extra appearances and decals. How do we eliminate this? So simply in Visualize, you can see that whichever assets are not required can be deleted, such as the unwanted or unused appearances or the environments or any other cameras. So to automatically do that, we have project option where we see delete all unused objects. So you can choose from whichever asset you want to delete. You can also select save after clearing and then click on analyze. So here you can see that all the unwanted appearances and environments are highlighted. We can simply clean it so that unwanted objects are removed and the project is saved. Very often we start creating Visualize project by importing the existing CAD model or clicking on new project. However, it is time consuming when it comes to adding the environments over again and searching for the appearances. How about we have an ideal project template so that we simply add the required CAD model and have the same appearance and the environment available directly in the project template. So how we do is we simply go to Visualize and we create an environment which suits our requirements. So for example, we have this Tokyo trim environment, and we will delete this model and save it as a template name. So for example, we are saving it as template. So the next time, whenever you start with a new project, copy the template.svpj and use it so that we have the readily available environments and the appearances already in the template. We do have Illuminating Engineering Society, that is IES standards light profiles within Visualize. So these are the profiles which are typically created by the lighting manufacturers, and these are the industry standards which can be used so that whatever the light profiles are seen in real world can be used in Visualize as well. So how do we use is we simply go to Visualize, and here whenever we are selecting a light, there is an option to select the IES profile. So Visualize has inbuilt IES profiles available. However, you can again go to the manufacturer's website and download their IES profiles. And here you can see that the kind of lighting environment the profile includes. So we can have a focus or we can have a narrow V, and depending on the light profile, the light illumination will be on the project. We can map keyboard shortcuts to the features and Visualize. This helps us creating multiple profiles as per the user so that we can call the specific feature with a click of a button on the keyboard instead of finding it in the viewport or in the user interface of Visualize. To do that, we simply go to Visualize and press F12. It brings up customization of keyboard shortcuts, and here you can select from any of the customization you want. By default, we have default mapping and the classic mapping, but then you can click on the layers button and you can add your own custom profile. So once you hit enter, you will have a lot of spaces wherein you can click and you can modify the existing keyboard shortcut or have it as it is. You can place multiple objects of the similar kind with equal spacing and a defined type. This can be done with Visualize option known as formation. So to do that, simply create multiple objects. So here we are creating 2 or more multiple objects, selecting all of them. And in the advanced option, we have the option formation. So we are selecting add locked V, zooming in out. We have the option to space it outward. And this is the way wherein the option comes handy. You don't have to click on any of the selected object and drag it. It comes as an equal distance spacing, which is very helpful to place the objects. It is true that sharp edges does not result in realistic renderings. So most of the CAD users add fillets to the CAD model directly in the software and then call the CAD model into Visualize. However, what if you have the CAD model with sharp edges and you don't have fillets added to it already? Luckily, we can add rounded radius to the CAD models. So to do that, simply go to the CAD model. So here we don't have any model. We'll simply create a cube and we'll try to scale it so that it appears as a plate. We select this, snap to floor. Now here you can see that there are sharp edges. What we will do is we'll select the part model from the model tree, go to advanced, and we will increase the corner radius. So now here you can see that the fillets are added automatically to all the sharp edges of the model. This helps in creating a much realistic rendering experience. Creating texture in CAD model is time consuming and little complicated. In Visualize, we can make use of image textures and create bump displacements so that the model looks as if we have created the textures right in the CAD model. To do that, let's open a project and create a sphere. So here we are selecting a sphere. We will add an appearance to the sphere, and for the appearance, we will add a texture. For example, we will add a bump texture mesh specular here, and we will set the texture as displacement. Here you can see the displacement starts appearing. In the texture mapping, we'll add a density and apply to the geometry so that the density gets applied. And we will scale the tile so that we have a refined displacement of texture on the CAD model. It takes time to achieve a specific appearance with the precision you wish to apply to the object. Now, once this appearance is applied or created, we need to preserve it. So we can easily do that by exporting the appearance as an external file. So here we have created a specular mesh profile color and we want to export it. So simply click on export and we will save this appearance to a custom folder. So this can be done and added to a user profile and we'll save it here. So whenever we create a new project again, we have the same custom folder available and we can apply the appearance back to any of the projects. So it is not project specific now, it is available in your user library. Material definition language MDL Materials are the library standards created by NVIDIA. These are some common real world materials created by them, and these are simply readily available for it to use by the render engineer in Visualize. The NVIDIA V Materials catalog provides access to collection of MDL materials. So this is available on NVIDIA website. To use that, simply download the appearances and copy it to your appearance library. Then create a model or import a model and go to the library where you have saved the appearances, MDL appearances, and you can simply reuse it. So for example, here we have paint and we can drag and drop the paint here. Now this paint can have multiple appearances in the same file. So it is rendering in the real time and we can drag and drop to have that effect on the model. The AXF file format from X-Rite stores digital material representations, mostly notably measured materials from the BTF scanning technology. All the scannings are done on a physical component found in the real world. These appearances are very well known for Fresnel maps and ClearCoat maps. So the appearances can be made available from X-Rite stores. You can purchase it, or if there are some free appearances available, you can download it from their website and then store it to Visualize. So how to use this? We simply create an object. So here again we are creating a sphere and we have stored few of the AXF appearances here. We just drag and drop just like what we do with the normal Visualize appearance, and the realistic appearance is available directly on the CAD model. So this is a leather, a red goat leather, which is created by them with AXF file format with the scanning, and the realistic appearance is available right on your Visualize project object. Physically based render appearances supports set of PBR textures maps that use the metallic roughness or the specularity glossiness workflows. These PBR appearances can be downloaded from few of the websites, or you can simply create the PBR appearance in Visualize as well. To do that, we simply go to Visualize, create a new object. So again, we are creating a sphere, and we have few of the PBR appearances available. Again, these are the generally used PBR appearances, but you can go to Cloud Library and download few. And we are going to add leather brown texture, and the PBR appearance is applied on the object. So this creates a realistic texture on the model, which results in a realistic rendering at the end. Generally, when we drag appearance or the signal entity of the object, the whole object is applied with the selected appearance. But sometimes we require a specific phase of the object to be applied with some different appearance. It is quite possible with splitting part option, where we can extract individual surfaces or several surfaces from the part by our selection and with the facet angle tolerances. To do that, we are simply heading to Visualize. We'll create a cube to demonstrate the option. With this cube, we will add an appearance from the library. So for example, we are adding a plastic appearance. Notice that all the face and the whole object is applied with that appearance. Now, if you want to add a different appearance on this face, what we can do is simply right click on the object and click on split part. Select the area which you want to split. We can generally change the tolerance, execute a split, close it, and apply the different appearance on the object. We can export the existing Visualize project to GLTF GLB or Draco GLTF Draco GLB, which are the compressed version of GLTF and GLB. These files are used for mixed reality, augmented reality products. So let's see how we do that. We simply click on export project, and save the file as one of the file formats. So simply we are selecting as GLB, we have saved it to as 1.glb, and then we'll open the file. So this file opens with 3D viewer also, which is inbuilt in Windows 10, and you can see the whole object is visible and the appearances are exported automatically from Visualize project, and we can have different environment lighting as well over the project. It is good to have realistic renders from Visualize to be added to your website or catalogs. However, how about adding special effects on the images? To do that, we simply open Camera tab. So we'll go to Show Camera panel. And from the existing presets, we can add a boost. We can make the image black and white. We can add a sepia. We can add antique, sunset, or fade, or come back to the boost again. And we have multiple cameras. We can add multiple cameras. We can add brightness on the object. We are reducing the brightness here. We can change the perspective of the image, how the image is going to look. And if you want, we can add boost on the material. So this is how we can use the camera panel to add special effects on the model in a Visualize project. We have a habit of adding multiple appearances with drag and drop to the model. Now this is a correct way. Maybe sometimes we end up adding duplicates of the same appearance in the appearance tab. So to unify them, we simply go to Visualize, where we have the duplicate appearances. So for example, we are having pink acrylic appearances, which are in 4 added to the model, and we have mocha and orange and so on. To remove the duplicates, right click in the panel, click on Unify Identical Appearances, and you can see that all are clubbed together to form a single appearance. This saves a lot of time browsing the appearances which you have added and removing the duplicates in the panel so that you can use any of the one to the model in the future use. While Visualize Viewport shows the object in great detail to visualize how the model is going to look like in the final image or animation, it is really necessary to orient the model so that how the appearances are available or the shadows are casted on the other side of the model to be seen. To do that, we can make use of multiple viewports. So go to View, Multiple Viewports and enable any of the following options. We are selecting multiple 4 viewports, and here you can see that when we are orienting the environment, the shadows are casted in different way. Similarly, we can click on any of the other viewport, so how the model is going to look like from the top or the bottom side or the left side. So this helps us visualizing the object without having to orient them. At the same time, we can visualize up to 4 different viewports. We can add a special effect to the applied appearances with the cast of light, that is a fake feathering effect that the human eye and camera lens create when light hits specific angles. So this is like blooming a light which is hitting on the surface of the object. To do that, we simply have to have the light which is propagating to the object, and then with the camera filter option enable the bloom, and notice that the light is now bloomed at specific areas where there is higher intensity of the light. We can obviously change the radius of the bloom effect, so we can make it dull or we can make it bright, and we can also increase or decrease the threshold, how it is going to look like in the final output. According to the requirements, we can set the threshold and we are good to go with the final output. We can create cartoon style comic book representations of the images in Visualize. To do that, we can select camera filter and enable the toon so that the toon effect starts appearing on the model edges. Here the model edges is black as a default, however we can change the appearances as required. Also, we have custom ambient occlusion effects on the model so that it looks ambient occluded. Also here we have toon shaded where we can change the override color. So for example, we are making it pink, and we can increase or decrease the tool detail so that the image can be seen here with perfect cartoon appearances in Visualize project. We can add post-processing to the environment or apply only to the object in Visualize project. This helps us manipulating a rendered image before getting exported as a final file. This improves the image quality or creates effects on the image. We'll go and open the project. Here we have the camera project. In the filters, we can apply to the geometry or to the environment, and we can have vignette effect if required. We are going to increase the saturation of the model. We are going to reduce the brightness a little bit, and probably we are going to darken the environment. This is a way wherein we can add post-processing to the model so that our image looks sharp and better when it is exported as a final file. We can create stereoscopy VR headset images directly in Visualize. So this is a great tool where the exported images can be viewed in a VR headset. To do that, open the project, set a camera as per the object is visible correctly. Go to camera, stereo. By default, we have mono selection. That is how we render our image with the mono stereoscopy. But with stereo 2 up and stereo analography, we can set the distance, the eye separation distance for the VR headset, and the focal distance, how you want to see the object like. And then you can render it out as a stereoscopy image. Here you can see we have red, and blue. That is how we distinguish for the left eye and right eye. And this image can be viewed then in VR headset. We can create 360 images in Visualize so that the 360 images can be exported and viewed in a 360 image player. To do that, we simply set a camera wherein we can see all the objects in a 360 format. In the camera type, we change the type as 360, and for the 360 we can set up a startup view. So for instance, we can have this red image to be in the center of the 360 so that this becomes the startup position, and then go to the render options and render the image. Once the image is rendered, you can open that image in a 360 image viewer wherein you can see the image as if you are standing in the center of all the cars, and you can feel the image effect. We can create panorama images in Visualize. This helps us view an object from a distant eyesight or like a fish eye camera. To do that, we open a project. We set the render output settings as panoramic. We can use any resolution as per our requirement. The better the resolution, the better the panoramic image will be. We can start pano render, and then the object will be visualized and rendered accordingly to have a panoramic effect. So here we are rendering all the sides, so it is like a 360 image. Also, this panoramic image can be used for creating an HDR. Once it is done, it will ask you to run runme.exe, allow it, and here you have the panorama where you can interact in 360 format, and you have a nice panorama image created with Visualize. Most often we require a specific subset area of the viewport to be rendered to be added to the catalogs or probably as an email signature. To do that, we can select a specific region in the viewport by going to camera, going to advanced and enabling the region render. So we'll zoom to a specific area, enable region. We can change the aspect ratio of this box which is going to be rendered. We can lock the region, and once you render, you will have the specific area rendered in Visualize. This helps save a great deal of time while not rendering the other area, and the specific region render is created in a fraction of a second. We can show a blur effect to the motion of the objects so that it looks very realistic as if there is a motion involved in the image. To do that, open the Visualize project. Here we have an animation setup, and the animation is that the car is moving from a pit stop 0 to some motion and it moves away. Now here we want to add a motion effect, motion blur effect. To do that, go to camera, advanced, enable the motion blur, and you can change the shutter time for the camera to match your requirement. And once the object is in motion, you can see that there is a blur effect at a specific area so that it shows that the car is moving in the rendered image. This helps us create stunning realistic renders in Visualize project. Depth of field option can be used to focus on a specific area of your CAD model or your object so that it shows up in great detail and the rest of the objects are little blurred. This option helps us creating a realistic render. Let's open a project. Here we have the car model and we are setting up the camera. So this looks perfect. We are just zooming in at a specific area and we want to show the left side of this car as a detailed option. So enable depth of field, pick the specific target you want to focus the camera on, and here you can see the left of the portion remains blurred. You can change the aperture so that there is an extra blur or low blur, and you can also have f-stops accordingly, which will add to the realism of the image. Caustic is the way light rays are reflected off a surface or through an object. To get this realistic approach of lights traveling from a model or a transparent model, simply go to visualize, create a model. Here we have a sphere, which is a green glass sphere, and you can see that the light reflects and comes through the model. The caustic is enabled, and we can change the floor caustics as per our requirement. Also, we can change the floor reflection so that it pops out on the floor, and also the roughness can be changed or increased as per the requirement. This helps us creating a nice caustic effect, not only for the objects, but for the environments where the lights are hitting on the object and passing through the object to form a purge of light on the floor. Denoiser is a capability of NVIDIA graphics cards where the render can be speed up and we can get the exact render with 1/10 of the time and 1/10 of the passes. In Visualize, whenever you manipulate any object, you can see that the passes starts from 0 and it will achieve a certain set of passes. Till then, it will try to refine the model. Now that you can see that the model is pixelated. However, to keep waiting for the project to have a specific amount of finish is time consuming. To eliminate that, we can enable denoiser, and notice that once you click it, automatically the refinement of the object is instant, and you will try to understand how the model is going to be at the end of the render passes. Obviously, the render passes will continue. However, this is the fastest approach where we can have the final output in less time. We can create cutting plane animations in Visualize to cut the model outside of the object or towards the object. To do that, simply open the project. We will create a cutting plane here so that it cuts the model. And now we want to animate this cutting plane so that it is coming out of the object, so it becomes complete. We are going to create a 2 seconds animation, select the plane, add it to keyframe, and take the yellow bar to the extreme right, and we will manipulate the plane so that it comes out of the model. Here you can see that we have all selected the auto keyframing so that all the keys are automatically placed, and we are having a 30 fps of animation for 2 seconds. So this is how you will see the animation to be once you play it or export it as an animation. Vehicle system enables user to create stunning animations of a vehicle in Visualize environment. Simply import your vehicle as a project object, and you can enable the physics vehicle wizard where we have to select multiple options. For example, we are going to select automatic mode. We are going to highlight which are the vehicle wheels, which are the calipers here. So already those are selected. We will select a direction in which the car is going to move, and we will also highlight which one is the front and the right wheel, and then the front and rear wheel for left and right. Then we'll also identify the calipers, and once it is done, we can have the driving with the controller or with the straight, or we can create a path. Also, we can set the mass of the vehicle, acceleration, and which kind of vehicle it is. It can be an SUV, it can be a large SUV, and according to it, the car will follow the animation with correct physics. We can create physics animations such as collisions or drops of an object in Visualize environment. Here we have two options such as static or dynamic physics so that it behaves in a correct way. Here we have 4 spheres and a plate. So we will set the plane as static so that it is not moving, and we will select the spheres, all the 4 spheres, to have a dynamic motion. Again, with the dynamic option, we can select it as a bounding box or a mesh. So the mesh is the correct approach wherein it will detect the surface of the spheres. Then we can also add physical properties such as static friction, dynamic elasticity, and mass. And once it is done, we can preview it with the simulation manager. So you can see that the objects are falling. Now, once you think that it is correct, we can simply record it, stop the recording, and you will have a nice animation in the Visualize project, which can be later used for rendering the animation. Many times we wish to create multiple rendered images, but we have less time. So what we can do is we can make use of queue projects, and with queue projects we can set multiple projects to an offloaded state, and once we start the queue, all the queue will start at once. Go to Visualize, set the camera, and when you are exporting the output, we will select the output option as send to queue. Once the send to queue option is enabled, the project will go to a queue. We keep on creating multiple queues, multiple projects for the queues. So here we can see that I'm just orienting the object and setting it to send to queue. Once this is done, we will see that there is a queue manager available where all the various projects are available, various orientations of the projects are available. And once you start the queue, each queue will start rendering it so that you get more time to render at the end of the day. We can have multiple model sets in the same Visualize project. This helps us creating the similar camera effects and the environments for different models altogether. To do that, open a project with all the appearances and lighting involved. We'll select a warehouse and change the scene to have the environment instead of color at the background. Now we want the same appearance and the environment for other models. So go to Models tab, create a new model set, and add or import any model. So we are creating a gumdrop, and we'll again create another model set wherein we'll create a box. Notice that we can select from any of the model set, but we have the same environment and appearance. Now we can save all the model set in the same Visualize project. Our Visualize CAD objects can have multiple variations as per the appearances or textures, decals or environments and so on. To do that, we can take use of configurations in Visualize. We simply click and create a configuration. So we want this car to be in red. So we will go to Appearance and set the paint as red. So we'll go to Metallic Paint. Also, we want it to be in light blue. So we'll set it as light blue and add the color. Notice that we have all the three configurations in the same project, and once we try to render, we have the output options as all configuration, so that all the configurations created will be rendered with the single click of a button. We have visualized inbuilt textures available to use in appearances. However, what if you want to search for any extra textures to be applied to the appearances? This is how we do it. So here we have appearance, and in the appearance you can see that there is no texture. If you click on bump, specular or color, you will be greeted with the textures which are available with Visualize. But what if we want to have different textures which we wish to have, which are not available with Visualize? So simply go to your search engine, go to your image search, and the correct word is seamless texture, and then followed by your object appearance. Notice that most of the square tiled appearances are the simplest ones which can be used. However, note that these appearance searches are from some websites wherein you will have to purchase it, and those are copyright. Just like appearances, we can also export and save our cameras to have the customizations available from the project that can be used in other projects. Open the project where you have the camera. If your camera might have some of the customizations like darken, you can have bloom effects on the model or probably a tune attached to the camera. We can have this camera exported with right click save to file or click on the camera and export it and save the camera to a camera folder. This is a default document location. However, you can change the location as per your requirement. And this is a free camera. The name is free here. We are saving it. And whenever we want, we can import the camera from the location where we have saved. So this helps us saving the time while creating the same effect of the camera by importing instead of creating all over again. We can add a video decal to the object surface. For example, we have a television set wherein a video is played on a television that can be simulated in Visualize. Open a project, create or import a model. Here we are creating a cube and we want to add a decal over this surface of the cube. To do that, we simply add decal from the appearance. So we have three options, that is image, video and image sequencer. We'll select video and simply point it to a place where we already have a video. Once this is created, drag and drop to the surface of the object and translate it so that it is placed correctly. You can again scale it and notice that an animation track is added to the timeline and accordingly the decal will be played as a video on the surface of the geometry. We can create user interaction based HTML images for the users to view how the object is going to look like on a web browser. Now this can be uploaded on any website with the dataset created by Visualize project. Open the CAD model, go to output settings and select interactive image. We can have multiple orbits and images per orbit. Then if you increase the orbits and number of images in an orbit, then the precision and detail of the output image will be much higher. We'll start the interactive image render and this will start rendering the whole CAD image to form an interactive image. So let's wait till the end so that we can see how this is going to render out. Notice that once the render is complete, you will be having an open.html and with the HTML you can interact with the interactive HTML file. We can have multiple render layer presets in Visualize. These layers are required for post-processing by third-party applications. So to do that, simply select the project to be used for render layers. In the output settings, we have output mode as render, and in the render layers, you can select from each one of these. So we'll select all and let's render it out. So once you start rendering, Visualize will export the image with each and every kind of layer as an output. So we have rendered all kind of images and let's go to the folder to find the kind of images exported. So here you can see that we have exported the diffuse, emission, glossy, normal, shadow, specular, UVW. We can simulate, visualize to have the same or similar sun study animation with respect to the time and the zone. We'll go to Visualize project and in the camera, in the environment, we will add a sunlight environment. We'll set the location or the sun incline at various zones and we'll start the month, time, Set time to now. We can always set time to now as per the system time. What will be the latitude and longitude? We can also set that. In the sunlight, we can change the haze or all the other properties which are required to simulate the object correctly as per the sunlight. Also, we can change the flown color to suit our requirements and the sun glow if required. And then we have the advanced options like mapping. As always, we'll go to output settings, select the sun steady and render out the animation. Let's wait for the final rendered animation. Notice that we have created a host of images here, and the images can be clubbed together to form an animation. While working with our precious Visualize project, it may happen that there is a sudden power loss or there is an issue with the application operating system which result in application crashes. However, in the process, we might lose our project. To avoid that, we have an option wherein we will be able to auto recover the project and it will automatically save the project in an interval which is set in the settings. Go to settings, tools, options, auto recover, and here you can enable this feature and set the time interval for saving the project of auto recovery from 1 minute to 10 minutes. Notice that whenever there is an auto recovery or auto save option enabled, you cannot do anything in the project, but that is worth a while. GPU may be chosen by the user depending on the use case scenario or the requirement. So for a higher assembly, larger assembly or a complex project, a better graphics card may be opted by the user, and depending on the use case scenario, user can also check this website link where we have already been made available with the benchmarks for various graphics cards. So here we can easily notice that multiple graphics card perform better than a single graphics card in the test scenario, and the test has been done with a sample project and all the settings are provided here. This might help all of us to choose a better system for Visualize.
Thank you for being a part of this event. I hope with this presentation all of us learned something new, something interesting which will help us in daily SolidWorks use. Why wait for next events? Log into workin.org and join a nearby group, attend meetings. No group in your region? No problem. You can apply to be a leader as well. That is it about the segment for us here. So I am happy and pleased to turn it back to the racing broadcast crew of Dan, Cam, Todd and Eric. Thank you guys.